Already the last day of November, which if you don't know, the best part of the last day of November is you can now safely be listening to Christmas music and not be judged. I will have Candy Cane Lane by Sia rocking in my truck all day long. And if you don't like it, I don't give a shit because that is the best Christmas song ever. I apologize to Mariah Carey. You're number 2 on the list with All I Want for Christmas Is You, which was my favorite for 25 years. But now I found Sia, and I see nobody else whenever I think of Christmas songs. What's up, new guy? My name is James, better known as the Degenerate75. I am a DFS content creator who is here to help you get a little bit better. I've been doing this shit for a long time, and I know a little secret that a lot of the touts don't know called this shit's tough, and you're not going to fucking win all the time. If you want to learn a little bit about the process and not just have people's picks and plays, well, then you might have just found the show. I encourage you to hang around for about the next 20 to 30 minutes. Maybe toss a question over there in the chat, and we will be doing a drawing in a little bit. If you find you like the cut of my jib, you check out that schedule right there, you motherfucker. I do this every Monday and Thursday for Monday and Thursday Night Football. I do the live stream Saturday night for Sunday main slate NFL. Also do a first look show with Tambo, and I also do college football, which is going to be the last show for college football is tomorrow. Okay, we'll deal with it. I do PGA, and coming in 2024, I do NASCAR, and I'm going to be doing pick'ems. I'm everywhere. I am everywhere. Let's get going. Don't forget to hit that like. For every 50 likes we get over there, I will be doing a ticket that we will toss in the big contest tonight. We will split the profits 50-50. I believe the big prize tonight is what? What is it? I'm on golf. You can see where my heart's at. $500,000. I believe half of $500,000 is $250,000. All right. So hit the like and ask up to 2 questions. You ask more than 2 questions, your ass disqualified. I will boot your ass, all right? I don't got time to sift through one guy asking 42 questions, all right, pal? All right, let's start with contest selection. The first place you're blowing your money, new guy. And here's what you need to know about contest selection. I believe in this, right? You don't play 150 lineups, okay? I mean, if that's part of your process and it works for you, keep doing it. But if you do that because you see that's what all the top players do, I'm just telling you, for you, new guy, it's a losing proposition. Even if you're throwing them in the 50 cent, when, it's only costing you $75, you'd be so much better taking that $75 and doing a $50 single entry or a $100 single entry, or, maybe a 20 max, or a 3 max $20, or hell, even the $3 20 max, right? Start spending your money better and get into contests. Just try it. I'm telling you, get into contests that have less than 5,000 people in it. One, you're going to have a better sweat. B, if your narrative hits, especially if it's a counter narrative, your script for the game, you're going to be so much more likely to get there. And oh yeah, you don't have to hit the stone cold fucking nuts and chop with everybody if you do hit the best lineup because you're in a smaller contest. I have really found a lot of success this year at Showdown, really just sticking to $100 single entries, $50 single entries. They have a $200 single entry. Whatever your price range is, they're going to have something for it, right? Just go tonight. And then go click my total prizes, and just quit looking at all these big ones and just scroll your happy ass down here, right? Just scroll right down here. Look at this. $15 single entry, right? If you're watching this show, I got to imagine you're probably down to at least consider a $15 single entry, right? What else do we got? A $3 single entry. Look, I got a free fucking ticket into that for some reason. Oh, I think because they did that promo. Those are the things that you should be looking at, right? A $4 3 max. I mean, just look how good that is. 5,900 people, just over 5,000, but so much better than those other ones. It's been a big revelation to me how much more sustainable and more fun NFL Showdown is. Whenever you really condense down your player pool, you pick your narrative, and you don't go spam a million lineups, and then you're almost always going to lose. And then the one time every 3 years you hit one, you're like, I want a GPP. Bro, you chopped it with 236 people. You got back $3,000, but you spent 10,000 trying to get it, you dumbass. So quit doing it, all right? There's some people out there that can live that life and can do it. You're probably not that guy, pal. You're probably not that guy, okay? And if you're not sure if you're that guy, you're not that guy, all right? Moving on. Hey, real quick, editor, over here in the chat, drop my contest. This is for the Sunday main slate. You guys have been doing a great job of filling this. I really appreciate it. Go grab your spots now. It's in the newsletter, but the editor's also going to put the link here. It's a $5 3 max reduce rake. Let's get it filled up now so I'm not out there Sunday morning being like, fill up my contest, all right? I don't want to be that guy. Don't make me be that guy. Nobody wants to be on Twitter bitch begging, okay? Haven't had to do it for several weeks. I appreciate you. All right, let's get to props. If you don't know, the big guy is leaning hard into props. In 2024, I am adding NASCAR to my site, and I'm adding prop picks for under $10 a month. We are using basically just our projections that we get from the Rosetta Stone, and we're looking at weak lines that exist in the betting market, okay? We're going to be adding them both for underdog and price picks, but we're also going to have these standalone prop picks where you can go bet them on sports books because let's face it, prop picks, if you want to just grind out a profit betting, you want to just win, you don't care about hitting something big, you just want more money in your account, account at the end of the year than you had to start, prop picks is probably the best place because it is the softest market out there, right? They're willing to lose a little bit of money on prop picks, against smart bettors because they know that they're going to get all that money back on the big games. Whenever people are betting money line bets and against the spread and over unders, they get all their money back plus some that they may lose at prop picks. So let's take advantage of that and let's get on these prop picks. Literally 5 shows in a row, we've hit 2 out of 3. We are damn due for a 3 out of 3. Let's get back on it. But by the way, if you're hitting 2 out of 3, a great mathematician once said, you're probably winning money, dickhead. All right, you're not a dickhead. The guy who's bitching about 2 out of 3 is a dickhead. Work with me, new guy. Come on. Let me get a swig of the cold brew. Cold brew past noon. Big guy's going to be up all night. I'm finishing a whole season of Survivor tonight. I don't want to hear no shit. All right, I'm not even going to tell you what season I'm on because I know one of you assholes will probably try to put the winner over here in the chat and destroy my fun. All right, here's your prop picks I like for tonight. Dak Prescott, under 35.5 pass attempts. I know, the Cowboys have a big total. The Cowboys offense has been awesome. The Cowboys are at home where Dak has been unbelievable. But if you really go look at Dak's stats, what you will find is he's largely getting it done through efficiency. He ain't throwing 50 times a game. Hell, he ain't even throwing 40 times a game. And with the big spread tonight and the Seahawks likely to get their asses stomped tonight, I think there is a very good chance that Dak gets his game. He has his big game, but he probably does it on something like 30 to 33 passes is what we're projecting. And in the second half, hell, he might not even play the fourth quarter if they really beat the brakes off of him. I think you're going to see a lot of running the ball tonight. Dallas is probably going to try to get out of there, get off the field, stay healthy for the Eagles, the massive game next week. Really like Dak, under 35.5 pass attempts. This next one, you can actually get it plus money, plus 124, meaning that if you put $10 on it, you'll not just win $10, you'll win $12.40, right? So you're actually getting plus money. The casino is going to pay you to make this bet. Zach Charbonnet over 3.5 receptions. This one to me is I can't believe this is a plus money bet. This seems like a proper line, yet they're going to give us plus money. If the line was minus 110 or minus 115 like we normally see at props, I would say, okay, this is a fair number. But I have found it at plus 124 at more than one book, and here's what I'll tell you. Zach Charbonnet, since he has taken over this backfield, he's just out on the field all the time. That's important. B, he's getting 5 targets a game minimum over his last 3. He is a very good pass catcher out of the backfield. We've seen it so far this rookie year and what we saw from him at UCLA. And most importantly, Seattle is likely to be in a game script where they're going to be behind, and old slapdick Geno Smith's just going to be dumping it off all the time as the Cowboys just drop 8 into a zone. Zach Charbonnet over 3.5 receptions, I really like tonight. And lastly, Rico Dowdle, if we're going to go with the Cowboys are going to beat the brakes off of Seattle tonight, which is the conventional wisdom for the fact that, it's probably going to happen, then I think Rico Dowdle is the guy's good, right? Rico Dowdle is to Tony Pollard what Tony Pollard used to be to Ezekiel Elliott, right? He is like that, ooh, who's this backup guy? Okay, I see you. And he's electric, right? They get him involved. When he's out on the field, he gets the ball. They want him to have the ball. He literally could get 26.5 yards just on one screen pass, right? I think you're going to see him get 5 to 8 rushing attempts, probably 2 to 3 targets. If I'm expecting 9 to 11 total opportunities for Rico Dowdle, I am very confident that he can average 2.5 yards per opportunity. And so with that, I love the over on his 26 rushing and receiving tonight. These are the prop picks that we have chosen for tonight that we will be betting based on how our projections look on the Rosetta Stone and where there is softness in the market, because that's all prop picks are, right? Trying to find softness in the market where they are overlaying numbers or giving you too good of odds to bet them. And these are the 3 we've chosen tonight from the Rosetta Stone. Where you're like, what the hell is this Rosetta Stone? Chill out, new guy. This is the Rosetta Stone. Okay, this is really the Rosetta Stone. This is the pretty fancy one with all the numbers and the colors and everything you need over here, right? Actually, I think I need to have this one up. Yeah, there you go. That's what it looks like, right? But you're on YouTube, so you're going to get the YouTube I'm a poor stone, all right? Which is this whited out one so I can remember to talk about everybody. Here's what you need to know. First of all, as we always talk about, we're going to talk about the game, the different kinds of narratives, and then we're going to talk about injuries, and then we'll go by player, and then I'll answer your questions, you mother fathers, okay? So here you go. First up, the total is pretty big, right? 47.5 is a big total, but do not forget that almost all of those points are going to Dallas, right? Dallas has the very big total now. A 28-point implied total in the NFL is pretty monstrous, right? And if you look at the Cowboys' production at home, you might say, shit, man, I think that's still too low, Jim. And you might be right. You might be right. So here's what I'll tell you. Dallas has been unbelievable at home. Seattle has been struggle busing. Dallas has everything in the world to play for. Dallas's offense over the past 5 weeks has probably been God tier in the NFL. So everything in the world is going to point to everybody playing Dallas tonight. Dallas in a comfortable win, a 28-17 type game. They control it. They run the ball. They're never really in any jeopardy of losing the game, and that is going to be the conventional wisdom. And so right there off the bat, what are some different narratives we could go with? Well, you could just simply go with Seattle's actually competitive tonight. Seattle can keep up with the Cowboys, and they're going to score as many points as them, right? Maybe you play the shootout, but not just the shootout on the Cowboys, but the total game shootout, and Seattle actually keeps up with them, right? That is one narrative to consider. How about this one? How about Seattle actually wins the game, right? No one is going to play that one, right? If you think that Seattle could somehow steal this game 21-20, and you want to go load up on some moderate like running backs and kickers and stuff from Seattle and go that route, I think that is one. But I think the one that nobody is going to give any time to is this one. How about just the under? How about both of these teams just kind of blah tonight? How many times have we seen in primetime games, especially Thursday night primetime games, these games are just not living up to the point totals. The under is hitting like a ridiculous, it's like over 70% that the unders are hitting on these Thursday night games over a long period of time. I don't know what it is. If it hits tonight whenever Dallas is at home, you know that there is something to these Thursday night unders. So right there, the biggest contrarian take you could do is this game is just whatever, 17-16, right? And you're building around kickers and running backs and maybe a high volume receiver or something like that, right? Those are the kind of guys that are going to get there in a script like that. So right there, there's already a lot of narratives you can go with that are going to be different. You can go with Seattle paces and keeps up with Dallas in a real shootout. So maybe you're going with a 3-3 build. Maybe you're going to play for a sloggier build so you can grab running backs from both teams. Maybe a defense, maybe a kicker, maybe a couple high volume receivers. And that lineup could get there, in that 17-13 or 17-14 type narrative, right? So there's plenty of contrarian narratives out there tonight other than just Dallas is going to beat the shit out of Seattle, which I will agree is probably a good 50% or higher proposition. But remember, we only got to be right every so often to really pay dividends, because if 1 out of 3 times Seattle can win this game or Seattle can keep this game super competitive and only 1 out of 10 people are building lineups that way, we're getting tremendous leverage in taking that chance. Second thing we want to do is, instead of always trying to look for a punt, think of your roster composition. Definitely the most popular roster composition tonight is certainly going to be a 4-2 Dallas build, right? Most people are going to run 4 Cowboys with the Cowboy at the captain and run it back with 2 Seahawks. Outside of that, I think it'll be very close. I think 3-3 builds will be popular, but also 5-1 Dallas. The 5-1 Dallas onslaught tonight, if you think, oh, I'll play Dallas, but just play 5-1, that'll be different. Bro, it won't be different tonight. People are going to play the Dallas onslaught, run it back with 1 Seahawk, probably Charbonnet or JSN, Jackson Smith and the Jigba. Those are going to be the most common run backs in a build like that, right? Maybe even a kicker, okay? So if you think playing 5 Dallas tonight is sneaky, it's not. If you think playing 4-2 Dallas is sneaky, it sure as shit ain't. And 3-3s are always popular just because everybody just likes to have, I'll have a little bit from this team and a little bit from this team, right? The reptilian brain people. So that's where it's going to come down to. If you are willing to build a 4-2 Seattle build, I guarantee you 4-2 Seattles and 5-1 Seattles will consist of less than 20% of all lineups that are made tonight. So if you're willing to live that contrarian lifestyle, you don't even have to play weird plays. You just construct your roster different and go with 4-2 Seattle with a Seahawk at captain. You'll be vastly different than the majority of the field, simply just by the way you've constructed your roster. Nothing to do with the players that you choose. All right, that's how you play the game. All right, let's talk about some injuries. Of course, Kenneth Walker is still out. Zach Charbonnet is going to have that backfill to himself. We will see DJ Dallas rotate in a little bit, but Zach Charbonnet is kind of an all downs back, and he's actually a lot better than DJ Dallas. The top 2 Seattle wide receivers, they're going to play. Lockett, Metcalf are going to play, but they've seemed banged up, and they just have not been as efficient. Maybe that's just because Geno Smith sucks. And then whenever you get over to Dallas, the third string tight end is a little questionable about what it's going to be, but everybody else is going to play. I think with them, it's just more like, what's up with Michael Gallup? I don't think he's hurt. I think he just sucks, okay? So from there, let's go break it down position by position, and then I will answer your questions, and then we'll get the hell out of here. It's 69 people in here. Noise. But you hit the like button, new guy. Let me get a quick swig of the cold brew. Where the hell's everybody at today? There's a small crowd today. People just not pumped for old Seattle and Dallas? What the hell's wrong with you motherfathers? All right. Here we go. Geno Smith has not been good this year, right? Geno Smith has been inefficient. Geno Smith is not playing well. He could never do well tonight. Or he could. If Seattle's going to keep it close, it will largely probably be due to Geno Smith playing a good game. He has the weapons around him. Charbonnet, Metcalf, JSN, Lockett, right? He has good weapons, and no one is going to give them a chance. If you think that Geno Smith could play a good game, he right there becomes a big leverage point. And here's what I'll tell you. If you're going to play Geno Smith, I think you almost certainly want to play him with at least 2 pass catchers, because for Geno Smith to get there with the little upside that he offers with his rushing, you're almost certainly going to need him to get 2 pass catchers there, unless you think like Metcalf or Lockett's just going to have one of those 11 catches, 160-yard, 2-touchdown games. But outside of that, he'll almost always take 2 pass catchers there with him. So right there, if you're wanting to be weird, if you think Seattle can compete in a shootout, you think Seattle can control this game, something like that, I would say the best narrative build you could probably go with is Geno Smith with at least 2 of his pass catchers. And hell, if you want to put a punt tight end, you could probably even run 3 of his pass catchers, or what I like to call 2.5 of them, run Geno, Charbonnet, and then 2 pass catchers, right? At the running back spot, I think Zach Charbonnet is going to definitely be the most popular played Seattle player tonight. At 6,800, he's just underpriced for the role that he has. I think he's almost game script proof. If Seattle is competitive, he's going to be in it. If they're behind, he's going to be in it. So at 6,800, he just seems like a tremendous value. So if you think you're getting sneaky playing him, you're not. Even if you're going to load up on Dallas and then have Charbonnet as your one running back, you ain't being different. You're being chalky AF. So beware of that. DJ Dallas does get a little bit of work in there, and at $1,200 could be worth a punt, but it's just hard because Charbonnet is still eating up a lot of that third down work. Kenny McIntosh, get out of here. Get out of here. All right, at running back, wide receiver, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, both do not have the greatest matchup. They're going to be against some tough corners, and neither of them have been wildly productive this year. I don't know if they're banged up, they're just getting a little dusty, or maybe it's just because Geno sucked. Maybe if Geno has a good game, they'll have a good game. But I think where most people are going to gravitate to in this wide receiver, I think people are getting really warm to JSN. That's Jackson Smith-Njigba, the rookie out of Ohio State, right? It is his rookie year. It's not already his second year, right? JSN is going to be popular at 5,200. He is getting more and more targeted. He is becoming more and more involved in this offense. You can already see him starting to take over that role of Tyler Lockett, right? Like, he will be Tyler Lockett next year. And don't forget, Jake Bobo is a guy who's actually been sneaky good this year. He just recently has not been getting as much involvement as we have been seeing, right? Also, anytime you're playing Seattle, you always got to consider, because like it just seems like this has happened on Showdown more than once. One of these slapdick tight ends, old Fant, Parkinson, or Disley, one of them's probably going to have like a 15-yard touchdown. You'd be like, well, damn, that slapdick just broke the slate, right? Because they all are out on the field a lot. They all are moderately involved, but man, it really is a roulette. If Fant's going to lead it, but like Noah Fant sucks, right? And so like I think you would be just as likely to see Disley or Parkinson get the luck sack touchdown that you could need, right? And they're also cheap. They can be that really nice punt option that nobody is going to consider, and I think they all have touchdown equity. And when you're playing a tight end, the most important thing is to have that touchdown equity, right? None of them are going to get you volume. If any of those guys get over 3 catches tonight, I will eat my hat with A1 steak sauce, okay? When you're playing the underdogs, I think you always want to be warm to the kicker and the defense from that. Jason Myers and the Seahawks defense are both going to be criminally under-owned, but just so you know, in a single game of football, when you have 2 professional football teams, shit can happen, right? A kickoff return, a block kick return to the house, and all of a sudden Seahawks defense gets you 12 or 14 points tonight, and if you have that at like 9% ownership, that can be a real game breaker depending on how the game plays out. Jason Myers gets 4 field goals and 2 extra points. All of a sudden, he is part of a really good lineup, right? I really like to mix in one of these kickers or these defenses if you're going with a 4-2 Seattle, or heaven forbid, a 5-1 Seattle. Getting over to Dallas, we would be remiss if we didn't say they've legit been the best offense in the NFL probably over the past 5 weeks, right? Dak Prescott has looked unbelievable. It's like since they came back, from the bye, they basically just said, YOLO, we're just going to chunk it all around. We don't give a shit, and they have. And they've been really, really good, right? Dak Prescott, I would say, is a shoo-in for 20 points tonight. If they get ahead, he'll get 20 points. If they get behind, he'll score 20 points. Literally, I think the only script he doesn't score 20 points is if this game somehow turns into a slog. But we haven't seen the Cowboys in a sloggy game at home all year, so that's a hard one to buy, right? At running back, Tony Pollard, for the last 2 weeks, has actually kind of looked like he has that step back, right? He has that burst back, which is what I seemed like he was missing for like the first 12 weeks of the season. He kind of looks explosive again, right? Like I think whatever was ailing him seems to have gone away. The Cowboys are wanting to lean more on him. I think Tony Pollard is a really interesting pivot off of Dak. If you have the stones to fade Dak, maybe you just hope Tony Pollard gets that touchdown equity. He still hasn't had that monster game where he gets 2 or 3 touchdowns, or maybe 2 touchdowns and 7 catches, right? So Tony Pollard could be that guy, and I think he's a tremendous pivot off of Dak, right? Because I think a lot of people are going to play those two together, but very few people are going to play Pollard without Dak. Rico Dowdle, you already saw how I feel about him when we looked at the prop bets. I think he's going to be involved. I think he's electric, and I think at 4,200, he's priced up enough that it will keep his ownership from getting ridiculous. CeeDee Lamb is an absolute usage monster right now. It's kind of like CeeDee Lamb and the Slapdicks. That would be the name of the Dallas wide receivers if they were a 70s band. He's been unbelievable. He is going to get probably at minimum 10 targets, probably upwards of 15. He gets the high-value targets. He gets safe targets. He gets all the targets that you want. He gets the red zone targets. You got to love CeeDee Lamb. But once again, if you want to play the contrarian narrative, maybe just go stack up the Dallas running backs and hope that maybe Dak throws it to some slapdick receivers for touchdowns, right? Or maybe just go all running backs, maybe double up on Pollard and Dowdle, go grab Ferguson or something like that and hope that they're the ones that eat up all the usage tonight, and you're not spending all your money on that CD Dak stack, which takes up almost half of your salary, right? From there, Brandon Cooks at 8,000, he's been really good recently. He has certainly emerged as the number 2 wide receiver there. And at $8,000, ain't nobody going to want to pay that, Bob. People are not going to want to pay $8,000. I remember playing Brandon Cooks at my captain at like 4,200 just like 3 or 4 weeks ago, and now he's double that. So I think you're going to get Brandon Cooks at reduced ownership simply just because he seems overpriced versus the rest of this field. Tolbert and Turpin are 2 guys that I think have basically just passed Michael Gallup, right? They just galloped right on past his ass. Michael Gallup, I think, is a guy that maybe you still consider. He seems to get weird games where he gets targeted a lot, but I think that Tolbert is a guy that has definitely passed him, and Turpin is a guy that is in the process of passing him. Jalen Brooks, no thanks. But to me, the most interesting play tonight is the Dallas tight end. I think Jake Ferguson, of all these pass catchers, is probably going to be the most forgotten about with elite upside. If we see that he has 8 catches for 72 yards and 2 touchdowns, would that surprise you? Not at all, right? He is definitely involved in it. $6,200. That is a tremendous value for the upside he offers at the price tag that he's at. Jake Ferguson, really high up there. Schoonmaker's always a guy as a punt tight end you could play. If you don't want to play the Seattle roulette tight end, maybe you just go grab Schoonmaker because he only seems to get targets when he's near the damn end zone. And then lastly, the kicker and the defense for Dallas. If you're not considering them as big favorites at home, I don't think you understand Showdown. If Dallas is going to boat race this game, let's say they win 31-10 or something like that, right? It will almost certainly involve either the kicker or the defense having a very good game. It will be correlated to the success. Yeah, there is a chance that maybe Dak and Pollard and 3 pass catchers get there, but most likely it's going to be 2 or 3 guys having a big game, and you're going to need that defense and that kicker to fill out that lineup. So the most important thing you can do is pick the script that you like. If you think Dallas is going to beat the shit out of them, I get it. Go with a 5-1 Dallas build, but just think, how can I build this a little bit different, right? Maybe you don't make Charbonnet or Jackson Smith in the jig, but you run backs from Seattle, right? Maybe whenever you do that, you go with a contrarian captain for the Cowboys and hope that you maybe putting Ferguson at the captain and running 5 Cowboys and only 1 Seattle player will be the difference you need, okay? It's okay to run 5-1 Dallas. I would say more than 50% of the time, Dallas will beat the shit out of Seattle tonight, okay? And that's fine. I get it. I think that's the most likely to happen too. And I'm telling you, I will probably play 5-1 Cowboys, okay? But I got to build it in a way that not everybody else is building it, right? I like just like last week. All right, I'm going to Eagles versus the Chiefs. I'm going to lean on the Eagles. I like them a little bit more, but how can I play this 4-2 lineup and be different? Oh, I'll just go put Devonta Smith at captain, and that is how you do it, right? I didn't go make all these wild, crazy plays. I just simply said, how can I build this roster a little bit different than everybody else? How can I go get a high upside guy that nobody wants to play in my lineup? Oh, I'll just go put Devonta Smith at captain. Maybe that guy tonight is Brandon Cooks. Maybe that's Ferguson. Maybe that's Lockett. Maybe that's Metcalf, right? Those guys are going to all be criminally under-owned in the captain spot, so putting them there with these guys, we agree, all those guys may not have the safest floor, but they all have big upside, right? So if I can get those guys in the captain spot, maybe that could be the tweak to my lineup that I need that makes me different than thousands of other people in the GPP with me, right? All right, there you go. I'm going to get to your questions. Holy shit, now we're up to 140 people. Where the hell did all y'all come from? lunch get out late today? I thought nobody loved me no more, man. And literally I just jumped over it, doubled up. All right, let's get to questions. Editor, I only see 63 likes, so as of right now, just one drawing. Editor, go ahead and draw that while I go over some shit. Guys, the best time ever to come check out DGen75.com. We have all kinds of NFL coming up. We're going to be pushing through. Things have been going wildly well. College football bowl season here. If you have not played college football DFS, shame on you. Just beware that PGA, I'm having a special on PGA that very first week of January. I'm trying to warn people about it now. If you come over to my site, yes, I had a good week at DFS. I have a decent amount of those, but I don't flex, all right? It's more about how my community did, and you can just see all those first places right there from people winning all kinds of money. We got guys that play $5 a week to $50 a week to $500 to $5,000. I don't care. I love them all. It is all about trying to get better and having your own process, and that is what we do. We celebrate the people over in our community. It is not about me or my stupid fucking moderators. Oh, yeah, and I have the best tool out there at an affordable price called the Rosetta Stone. This, my projections, my ownership, everything, you get all of this at a competitive price without being price gouged. Imagine being able to play fantasy football and put your money towards your DraftKings lineups instead of paying your tout site $9 million a month. Hey, if you've ever wanted to try it out, but you haven't, just sign up for my newsletter. Let's support DGen75 right here, the little Twitter thing, and they will give you a free week on the website, no strings attached, okay? All right, it looks like Moorhead79. Hey, the game tonight's in a dome, so we love dome and we love, okay. All right. Also, don't forget the trip to the Waste Management is coming up in February. Me, Tambo, it's gonna be a real good time, right? So if you want to help me plan the trip, we're still trying to get some stuff planned. I had 2 people reach out last night. Super helpful. I appreciate you, mother fathers. I just don't want to call people. And don't forget, at the top of the hour, go check out my dudes at Ship It, who will be at Waste Management with me. Title, Hoop, and Tambo, breaking down the Thursday Night Football slate. They will probably have takes different than mine. Did I even have any takes? Most of my takes are don't be a dumbass. That's my biggest take tonight, okay? All right, let's get to the question. Man, the viewer concurrentship is all over the place today, editor. I think there's something wrong with the old YouTubes over here. That's what I think, bro. I think it's like bouncing around like 40 or 50 at a time right now. I know 40 or 50 people at a time ain't coming and leaving. All right, let's see. This chat's being, the stupid chat thing's being stupid too, editor. All right. Do you think the Cowboys will crush the Seahawks? I do. I really do. But it's Showdown. I got to ask myself this, Tweezy. If I think that the Cowboys are 50% of the time going to blow them out, but if I play a Seattle-led lineup and that's only going to be played 10% of the time, well, then it just becomes a leverage point, right? Then I will just say, fuck what I think, and I will go play the other way just simply because of the leverage. If I can get 10-1 on a 50-50 proposition, well, then that seems like the way to play it to me, right? Let's see. All right. Is Seattle a usage narrow enough to warrant a captain play? Okay. Well, I think that Charbonnet is going to probably be a pretty popular captain just because he has that backfield to himself. But to me, I think that a guy like Metcalf is a guy that no one's going to play at captain, and I think he still has captain level output, right? Geno Smith sucks balls, but a quarterback in a script where they're going to be behind, I think that it is very viable consideration for a captain. So yes, I would consider Seattle players at captain. Most popular build 5-1 Cowboys with Dallas D? No, it'll be a 4-2, but 5-1 will also be very popular. Any thoughts on using Dallas D in the captain spot? I'm open to it. Look, if Dallas boat races them, we got Mr. Bland, who just returns every pick six ever. That guy is incredible. If this game's a blowout, Dallas's defense seems like minimum they're getting is 15, and they probably have like a 20 to 25 point upside. And depending on what the rest of the team does, that can often be enough to get there because they will have paid off that salary so excellent. Feeling better? Oh, big guy's feeling real good today. You can't hold this guy down, Austin. I'm strong like bull. You cannot keep me down. In the flex, would you favor Dallas, D, or Aubrey? Oh, it kind of depends on what you're going with. Probably the defense, because, if Dallas is blowing them out, they're probably scoring more touchdowns than field goals, right? That would be my logic there. Do you lineup study other pros to find value in that? Yeah, I don't really worry about what pros are doing because they enter so many lineups. I go look at what the winner of contest did, right? Which sometimes, often is a pro, and I will see what that lineup did, and I ask myself, was this a lineup I was building? What were they trying to tell a story with this lineup? And I do look at that, yes. But I like to look at it more in like the $100 single entry, the $50 single entry, more than I do the millionaire maker. Because the millionaire maker is usually just 30 people chopping it, and they all just have a super chalky lineup. Think there's any chance that Geno struggles and they go with Locke? Liking Geno unders. Yeah, I mean, I guess I could see that, but I mean, this game, like, Seattle still has a chance to make the playoffs, right? Like, they still got a lot to play for. So I think they're going to kind of go balls to the wall tonight and not just give up. Do you think running a defense and 2 kickers and the flex is crazy? I mean, I'll tell you this, it's sure as shit different. It is sure as shit different. Blue Boy, if you don't put a question mark, I'm not answering it. 5 Cowboys with a Charbonnet captain. Yeah, that's going to be wildly popular. Not wildly popular, but it ain't going to be as different as you think. I will say Charbonnet at captain will make you a little bit different, as I think most people will put Charbonnet in the flex in that build. But I don't mind it. Like, if you're playing in a smaller field with 2,000 or less entrants, I think you can get away with that. I would never put that in the Millionaire Maker, because even if that weird lineup did get there, I promise you'd chop it with 30 to 40 people. Oh, feeling great, Nate. Feeling great. All right, what's the best way to get different for single entry without getting too cute? To me, it's a low-owned captain, right? Like, I already went over this, Moorhead, which, by the way, congratulations on winning. Get me up to 80 likes, or 100 likes. We're at 80 likes. Just play a low-owned captain, but don't punt at captain, right? Geno Smith, DK Metcalf, Ferguson, Cooks, all those guys have tremendous upside and will be low-owned captain options, right? That's all I did last week with Devonta. Yeah, I don't have to say Devontae. We're homies. He likes when I call him Devonta. All right, Cowboys haven't been beaten by a team with a winning record. Hammer the Seahawks? I mean, that's a narrative to run with. Look, the Cowboys are really good at beating the shit out of bad teams. But here's the problem. I'm not sure the Seahawks aren't a bad team. Feels like a kitchen sink type of game for the Sea Chickens. I like that name. With the Niners and the Eagles coming up on the schedule, no? Look, I'm more worried about the Cowboys being in a trap game here, right? The Cowboys have got the Eagles looming, and if you don't think that that's on their mind, this just seems like even professional teams can get a little case of overlooking the team that they're playing, right? Playing both kickers chalky? Not at all. But playing both kickers will be a very contrarian build with such a big total in this game. Big deal. If I'm running 4 Seahawks, now we're back up to 150. What the fuck is happening over here, editor? I am running with 4 Seahawks. Could I be one more unique running back with Dak and Lamb or Dak and Pollard? Yeah, no, I think if you're running 4 Seahawks, you run it back with whoever the hell you want, right? Because so few people are going to build around 4 Seahawks, especially 4 Seahawks with 1 in the captain. You could run it back with Dak and Lamb, Dak and Pollard. And yes, those would be 2 chalky Cowboys, but it doesn't matter because you are so much different in the way you're constructing your lineup. Good question, sir. If you had to guess, who gets more points tonight, Dowdle or Aubrey? Dowdle. Just because the Seahawks have been the Cowboys have been so efficient at scoring touchdowns, I just wonder how many field goal against old Aubrey's going to get. Seattle defense is so mid. Dak dropping 3 to 4 on their head. Dak should be 100% owned. Well, there you go, bud. Sounds like you got it figured out. How many captains would you use for a 20 max? I would be 2 to 3 at most, right? It really would, I would probably pick 2 narratives that I like and then have 1 or 2 captains that I like for each of those narratives and mix and match them. How big player pool for 20 max? I would probably be around 13. That's the number I found that I like, around 13. Big guy, can we fade Dak tonight? Absolutely. I mean, look, he's going to be so popular that you can fade him, right? At $11,000, he can have a good game. He can score 23 points tonight, which is a good fantasy game, and that still might not get there points per dollar, right? And I'll be the first to tell you, it's scary fading Dak. The guy seems like an auto lock for 22 points, right? But if it's just 22, you might be able to survive it. You just got to ask yourself, how much are you willing to go down in flames? That's what you got to ask yourself, right? I faded Mahomes last week. I was like, let's do it. Let's go down in flames. I didn't. Being a Cowboys fan, I'm pretty sure we'll see a lot of play action, hold the backers, and tight ends will eat. Hey, you ain't got to sell me on the tight ends eating tonight. I'm on the tight end eating train. Has anyone seen the eyes of DJ Della's pictures? Dude looks like chairs breaking. Okay, I've not seen that, but I will go look now. Do you feel like a 3-3 with a Hawks captain will be lower owned? Absolutely. A 3-3 Hawks captain will be lower owned than a 4-2 or probably even with a 5-1 Cowboys build. I'm feeling a slogfest today, playing Pollard and Dowdle, but yeah, I think you can get away with that, and I'd probably mix in the Cowboys defense in that too. I think in a sloggy game, they're probably getting some sacks, maybe some fumbles and interceptions, something like that, right? Dallas defense is captain, too chalky. I don't think it'll be too chalky. I think that most people are going to go with Prescott, Pollard, or Lamb at captain. When you're also Charbonnet, I think he'll be the most popular Seahawk there. When you're first refining your process, what were the metrics or things you looked at to give feedback that you were on the right track, right? So the first, this is a great question, Jeff. First thing I would tell you is don't look at too small of a sample, right? A lot of people be like, man, I suck at PGA. I didn't win this year. Bro, you played there's 38 weeks of PGA. You think in a 38-week sample you can determine if you're good? Even worse, people are like, I suck at NFL. I didn't even win this year. Bro, it was 18 fucking weeks. That's not a big enough sample to get an idea if you're good or bad, right? And an 18-week sample, even the best pros can have an 18-week sample where they lose, right? No one is guaranteed to win over an 18-week sample. What you really need to do, to me, my opinion, you need about 100 slates of samples, right? So, at Showdown, you can get there a lot faster because we have Showdown Monday, we have Showdown on Thursday, we have Showdown on Sunday. So right there, you can be getting 3 Showdowns. Not to mention those weird London games, the weird Friday game after Thanksgiving. So you could probably get almost 100 Showdown NFL slates in a year. And then you could really stop and look and see, am I doing well or doing poor at this, right? That's the first thing you got to look at. You got to have a big enough sample to really assess what you're doing well or what you're doing not well, right? And that'd be the first thing. To just try to look at 18 main slates in an NFL season and say you suck at NFL, you're an idiot. You're an idiot, all right? That's not a big enough sample. You cannot draw any conclusions from that. Or you could have 18 and be like, oh, I won money this year on 18. I am awesome at week long. No, bro, you just had 1 good week or maybe 2 good weeks. That doesn't mean you're going to sustainably be good. It means you might have just luck sacked one of those weeks. You don't have a true picture of if you're a good player with a good process yet. All right, Steven says, what do you think of a 5-1 Dallas run back with Geno and Dallas? Here's the problem with that, Steven. I just don't see any way Geno gets there by himself. He's just so bad at running. He would need to throw it to somebody, right? Oh, my God. Dude, these viewers, editor, something's going on with the YouTubes today. Something is going on. All right, Clint, I just signed up with you 6 or 7 months ago, and I was much older to figure get info. It's easier now that you're big time. Is it easier now that you're big time? Wait, I signed up with you 6 or 7 months ago, but I was too much of an old to figure out how to get the info. Oh, Clint, dude, the editor will walk you through everything, right? The average person on my Discord is 43 years old, all right? Which maybe not chronologically old, but they're old like me, right? They're like, I don't know how to do this damn Discord, all right? And we'll walk you through it. We got the website if you don't want to do the Discord, but I'm telling you, we will walk you through it. I got a whole staff of people now that just help people like you. I call them olds. I love you, but you're an old, all right? You're not good at technology. You probably still got a fucking flip phone, all right? We got people that help you. Yes, try it, Clint. Reach out to the editor personally. He will take care of you, or support at DGen. I got a whole team of people that will answer your question and hold your hand. That's literally what I pay them for. All right, can you get behind Tyler Lockett and back to the Texas narrative and your captain spot? Can you get by? Yeah, I mean, Tyler Lockett is a lot like Metcalf to me, right? They're guys that are just going to be really low owned who I think have big ceilings. I don't even mind him as a captain, to be honest. All right, do you think Seattle's defense will be a funnel for Dallas more towards the run or pass and the tip to control? Yeah, I think Seattle realizes that trying to stop all of Dallas's offense is going to be very difficult. So I think you're going to see them try to concentrate on doing something, right? Maybe they try to shut down the run game. Maybe they try to take out CeeDee Lamb. They're going to have to try something because just trying to generally stop the Cowboys defense, not great. Should we play Cook at captain tonight? What? Wait, yeah. Cooks. I'm sorry. I was like, Cook. I was like, he's playing tonight? Yeah, I think he's a great captain option, right? He could blow up in your face, Joanne, but he could also get there, right? Looking for question marks. That's what I'm doing right now. All right, let's see. Dallas D and the captain on an onslaught? Yeah, I don't think that'll be wildly different, though. Any double defense night? If you think the game's going to be a slog, I love double defense. Oh, we got the telescope in the house. Do we think Bland gets another pick 6 today? I mean, that guy has a nose for the end zone. If you saw the 5th one he had, he definitely should have got tackled at the 10. But that guy just has a nose for the end zone. Old Cubby, Bobo or Fant as a pump for Seahawks? Probably. Oh, God, that's tough. That's tough, man. I guess Fant because he'll be on the field more, but Bobo's way better. He's way better. Who's your favorite Seattle run back on a 5-1? Probably Metcalf. Probably Metcalf or JSN. Of course, I love Charbonnet, but Charbonnet is just going to be just such a popular run back in those 5-1 Dallas builds. That's my only concern with him. I love Zach Charbonnet tonight, but to have him as your only run back in a 5-1 Dallas is going to be very popular. Because once again, you can love a guy, but you also got to say, I think that Dallas is going to beat the shit out of Seattle tonight. I think that. But if I see that the field thinks that more than I do, well, then I'll just go the other way. Because at the end of the day, we're all just making educated guesses, and I'm here to play the game, not have fucking picks and plays. All right. Who is your favorite? I already answered that. Is Rico too thin at captain? Yeah, I mean, he would have to almost get certainly a touchdown, right? Like bust a big touchdown play. You're really chasing a very, very skinny narrative when you do that. That'd be my only concern. Hey, John, I haven't seen you in a minute. Is a 3-3 build getting different tonight? I think so, especially if you have a Seahawk at captain. Mateo, I don't recognize this name. Was that hybrid Russian Irish accent? I think so, Mateo. Sometimes I get into my accents and I lose them midway, don't I? I just get so deep into them and then I forget what I'm saying and I lose it. See, I don't even know. Is that Irish? I don't know. Let's see. Cubby, favorite prop for this game other than the 3 posted earlier? Bro, I already gave you 3. What the hell do you want from me? All right. Thoughts on 4-2 Seattle with Dallas D in the flex? Yeah, I guess. They better be some cheap Seattle players. I don't think that one tells the most coherent story, but sometimes games don't always tell the most coherent story. If you think Seattle... Oh, shit, we're rallying to 100 likes over here. You guys got about 2 more questions. They're rallying hard, boy. Come on. We're coming down there. I'll get a quick swig of the cold brew to buy you guys a second to hit the like, you motherfathers. This I'm telling you, editor, something's wrong with the YouTubes today. By the way, that's me like, what do you call that when you're like smacking the horse? We gotta go. I don't know what that's called. I don't do horse racing. If you think Seattle keeps things close, what would make Charbonnet a viable captain? If you think Seattle keeps things close, yeah, of course, yeah. I think if Seattle's close, Charbonnet's probably doing well, but I think that Geno would be also doing well, and he will be way lower owned than Charbonnet. Who would be most likely to captain in that game script? Yeah, so if Seattle's keeping it close, that's probably on the back of like Charbonnet or Geno. That would probably be the 2 most logical to me, right? Sweet hat, my man. Hey, thanks, bruh. Let's see. Got up to 95 likes. All right, Devin says this is a don't overthink it slate. All right, Devin, I agree. I do think Dallas is going to blow them out. But let me ask you this question, Devin. If 90% of people are going to build 5-1 and 4-2 Dallas builds, right? You're so confident that it's going to be Dallas whooping that ass that you wouldn't just go play the other way, because these are 2 professional teams, and professional teams, the best NFL team and like the almost worst NFL team are about that far apart. On any given Sunday, these teams can really beat each other. Seattle will keep this game close about 1 out of 3 times, and they probably win this game something like 1 out of every 4 times, okay? So if I know that 25% of the time Seattle's going to win this game, or maybe even upwards of 30% of the time they're going to keep it, it's going to go down to the last play, and 90% of people are going to play that Dallas is beating them, well, then at some point, I got to say, I'm just going to play the game tonight. Fuck my picks and how I feel. How do you feel about playing kickers with Dallas defense as captain? How do you feel about playing kickers with a Dallas defense as captain? Yeah, I mean, kickers and defenses typically tend to correlate well with each other. All right, guys, I appreciate all of you being here. We came up just short of getting there. YouTube's being crazy, so I will see you soon. Winner, reach out to me. We will get it built. Don't forget to come check out DGen75. Something real special happening over there. Tomorrow will be my very last college football show, and then Saturday, 7 o'clock in the Lord's time zone, we will be breaking down the main slate. I'm talking as long as I can here to try to get it to 100 likes. But it's just staying at 99, so I think I got to go. I need you guys to enjoy this outro, you motherfathers.